Hi, it's Mike from 24 Hour Solar Power here. I just want to say thank you. I do really appreciate the opportunity to be of service and do a design for you. Today I'm going to run you through and talk about a Victron Off Grid and how our quoting and designing system works. We're a big believer in choice, so we've actually designed this system up so you as a customer can have a play around, work out the price and see some different options. So I'm going to talk through today how our quoting program works. We'll go from there. What we normally do on choices with panels, so we'll start from the roof and I like to work my way down until we end up with the generator basically. So from a panel option point of view, we normally give two options. The two options we'll normally give is a poly and a mono option for your panels, and normally a cheaper option depending on your budget and what you're looking for. We only talk about with warranties that's going to cost me or you money over the life of the panel being installed. Most of the panels we option, if it says a 12-year panel here, 12-year warranty, what that basically means is within 12 years it's a parts and labour warranty. These two options here is a 25-year warranty, parts and labour. So if anything happens within the 25 years, you as a customer or us as a business, we're not out of pocket to come and fix that. If it's a failure from the panel manufacturer, they actually cover our cost to come out and fix it. So there's some really good things there. And yeah, like I said, if it does say a 12-year warranty, most panels have a performance warranty, which in my opinion is not worth the paper it's written on. But basically, all the panels we offer, they're all, the warranties I talk about are parts and labour warranty of what you're covered for. So have a look at that there. What you can actually do is you can click on the data sheet here. It's going to bring up the data sheet for that panel manufacturer. And you can have a look at all the specifications of what we'd be supplying you. We come down here. If you see this one here, it's a 10-year product warranty only on the REC Twin Peak, and it says 25 over here. It's because we're a preferred REC partner, so we actually get a 25-year warranty. So if it's installed by us because we're a preferred REC partner, you get a full 25-year warranty on that panel, so because we're a preferred partner. Yeah, so you'll normally receive a roof layout a bit like this to show how your panels are going to go. If you're off-grid and you don't have a shed yet, we can whack them in the paddock if that's what you'd like. Just let us know to give you a rough performance of what it's going to do and how it's going to perform. But if there is a shed there, we'll normally do a panel layout to give you an estimate of how it's going to go and what it's going to look like. You can click on these images and you'll receive this report here. So this is an estimate of the annual production of the panels. Now, with living off-grid, one thing that happens is when your batteries are full, your solar panels actually turn off unless you're going to be using the energy, which we'll get into a little bit later on. But this is a bit of an example of how it's worked. Of a day, you consume about 5 kilowatt hours of direct solar. Total energy for those 15, 7 goes into batteries, and how many losses and stuff like that. So this is typical for someone that uses about 16 kilowatt hours a day of how that works. So you'll receive a report like this specific to your site and your system when we do the design. Okay, so yeah, with the two panel options, if you want to, normally there's about $1,000 difference we normally put in the panel options between an entry-level panel and a better quality panel. If there is a panel there that you'd really like that we don't supply, let us know. It's something we might be able to do. But we normally prefer to stick with the REC and SunPowers because they do offer that full 25-year warranty for you as a customer. If anything happens, you're not out of pocket, I'm not out of pocket to pay my guys to come fix it, so which is exciting. Okay, so now for racking. Now we use two different types of racking, and I'll explain the reasons we do use two different types of racking. Both these company Radiant and Clenergy, the sticks themselves, the big rail that you actually see on this picture here, these rail are actually made in Australia. One of them's on the Sunshine Coast, I think, and the other one's actually made in Ipswich in Australia. All the little parts and stuff like that come from China, but the rail itself is actually made here in Australia, so they're an Australian-made rail. Now, the reason we choose the difference between the two, they're both a premium rail. Neither of them are low quality, they're both really good quality rail. The two reasons we would choose the difference between the two is either which our wholesaler has in stock. Now, for example, we service pretty much all up the East Coast from Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland. We do really well, we can service. We can service some other areas. But yeah, so we could do really well Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland from an installation point of view. And sometimes it's just what our wholesalers, most of our wholesalers down towards the south, they all stock Clenergy. and all our wholesalers north seem to all stock the Radiant rail. So that's pretty much the only reason that we choose the difference between the two from an installation point of view. They're both really good quality rail. The other reason is with Radiant, we use an example, Radiant have their solar tripods where they do a 15 degree to a 30 degree tilt, where Clenergy actually have a tilt that goes from 5 degree to 15 degree, and they also have one that goes from 30 to 60 degree. So if your roof is a roof that says, Mike, I really want that 60 degree angle, we'd require to choose the Clenergy racking because we can't use Radiant, don't have an option. So just some little things like that we choose. This is what the solar tripods look like. Now with the solar tripods, as you can see here, there's panels flat to roof and there's panels out here in tripods. Now if you do have a roof like this, let us know, we can work out and you can edit these quantities. So if you just go, Mike, we only want to put half the panels on the angled roof, want the other half on the 10, just change the quantity there. It's actually going to change the price of the system down below the end price. So that's something to consider and think about. And if you have a roof that doesn't require any tripods, the rule of thumb off grid, you really want your latitude plus about 12 degrees ultimate. Now these days, we can tend to put more panels because panels are cheaper and you get more rebates. If your roof's only 22 degrees, we can make up that extra with some extra panels. It's more about that winter production, that you will lose performance in winter. It's about getting that winter angle right. And that's pretty much all our systems that we talk about is worst case scenario in the middle of winter. That's what we really want to worry about. The rest is easy. Long days and lots of sunshine in summer, they make up for bad angles. We're in winter. Short days and long nights don't make up for bad angles. So it's really important we get these panels on a really good angle and the right angle to get that winter production. Now, this is what's called your inverter charger. All our systems are an inverter charger, which allows you to plug a generator in and charge it. What these do, if you think about these inverter chargers, these are your battery inverters. Now they actually take energy from the battery and turn it into 240. So this one here is an 8 kVA. If you go and have a look at the data sheet on these, actually temperature derate, which a lot of people forget and don't worry about. This one here, for example, if you go and have a look at the temperature derating, so continuous at 25 degrees, about 6,500 watts. And if it was at 40 degrees Celsius, it'd be 5,500 watts. Now that's actually the temperature of the inverter itself, not the ambient temperature. So basically, it's something to consider. So if you're running heavy loads all day, every day, remember to look at temperature compensation and derate. It's more those loads where they're running flat out all day, every day. It's something to take into consideration. And this is, so this is the inverter that takes energy from the batteries and turns it into 240. And then when you plug your generator in, it charges the batteries from this one here. So if you think about this inverter here, it's how many appliances you can turn on at once. So for example, you've got, we'll just call it 6,500 watts. A kettle's 2,000 watts, a toaster's 2,000 watts, and let's say you want to run a Thermomix or something like that, it's another 2,500 watts. If you turn all those three devices on at once, or an electric toaster or something like that, you're at that 6,500 watts maximum. Any more than that comes on, you're going to overload the inverter and have a blackout. You're not going to damage your inverter, but if something you do all the time, yes, you will damage the inverter. If something happens occasionally, it's completely okay. You'll have a blackout and everything will shut down and you're required to turn everything off and start it back up again. So that's how much you can take from batteries through the inverter. That's what that 8,000 VA stands for. And just remember to look at the temperature deratings. Now this other inverter here, this is an AC coupled inverter. So if you think about it's a grid connected inverter, and I know off grid there's no grid available. So the Victron actually becomes the grid for the ABB. And how this inverter works, it only actually comes on of a day when the sun's shining. So we go back to this one here, you've got a 6,500 watt inverter, let's say, running flat out, and you've chosen a 5 kilowatt inverter here, and the sun's shining, everything's in perfect conditions. Of a day, that's going to give you the ability to turn on 11,500 watts all at once. I'll quickly give you a quick demonstration. So this system here is the monitoring platform, which I'll come back to, but for an example in this here, that's the ABB. It's turned off right now because the customer's load's only 491 watts. It's taken something from batteries, and this PV charger is just doing 30 watts. So this is goes direct to batteries, this one. And this one here is the AC coupled. So once a big load comes on and turns up, this one here will actually come on. So at the moment it's asleep. So yeah, this is an AC coupled inverter, only works for a day. And what happens is it'll handle your loads first, and when you're not using the energy, it sends it back to the Victron, and the Victron will then charge your batteries. So these are a really good option to add to your system if you're thinking of running an air conditioning all day, or if there's heavy loads you want to run all day. These are a better solution because they're more efficient. There's only about 5% losses rather than charge, go to batteries, pull back out of batteries and put back into AC. There's only one conversion this year, so it makes it more energy efficient. Most of these systems we put about a 3 kilowatt inverter in, but you'll have that choice to add it there. So what we do with your solar panels, for example, there's 7.5 kilowatts of panels here. We'd probably split them up and throw, 5 kilowatts in this one and 3 into this one here. So this is an MPPT. This is an automatic gearbox for your solar panels. So what this does, we put panels directly into this one here, and it charges the batteries directly. So we always have these two in a system. Very rarely do we not have just this one. Most systems will always have the inverter with an MPPT, and if you wanted to add the AC coupled inverter for the extra daytime usage and more energy efficient, we add that there. What these are also really good for, these inverters, is if you've got a house and you want to put panels over on your house, we can put this inverter over there, and as long as the AC is connected over the shed to where the batteries and stuff want to go, we can send all the energy that this one here creates back through the AC cables over to this one to charge batteries. So so that's your MPPT, and if we don't put one of these in, we can shove all your panels into this one here directly into batteries. Now monitoring, this is a color control that we install right next to the battery so you can see what's going on. If your batteries are close to your house and you can put this in on an Ethernet cable, we can only really move this about 5 meters away from batteries for everything to work properly. So that's something to consider. Now the monitoring, I popped it over here before. This is basically what the screen looks like. This red box here, when your generator starts up, comes and says how much is going into the generator. Right now, this is how much load the customer is using in their house. This is what the ABB, your AC coupled, so PV inverter, that's your AC coupled inverter, and a PV charger. That's this MPPT directly to batteries here. So basically, that's what it's going to show how many the solar panels are doing. This customer here right now, the batteries are full, so therefore, this is only turned on just to run the loads and just trickle the loads up and get the batteries to full. So that's monitoring that comes. This is if you're connected to the internet, it's an app that you can see remotely from anywhere in the world, and you can go in here and we can actually give you remote support from the office. So if you are having a problem or anything like that, we can actually log in and give you remote support and come in and change settings and things like that, help you out. So here we go, the ABB's finally woken up, gonna start doing something. So we'll just flick back over here, start to ramp up. There we go, so the ABB's woken up and it's not asleep anymore, so it's gonna start doing something. So that's what it looks like when it starts to wake up and puts a load on. So the other good thing about this, now that's just all local. There is some graphs you can go in and find on the color control. Ultimately, we want these connected for internet, purely for technical support if we require to help support you with any problems. Also for your warranties, we really want to put this data online so we can see any information, the history of things going wrong, we can jump on them. If it's online, we get a notification. So this is sort of the monitoring you get. Now these customers is off grid. Today their solar's produced 7 kilowatt hours, they've consumed 7.3. Yesterday their solar did 15 and they used 16 basically consumption, and so on and so on. So these are graphs that go back. And as I said before at the start, when your batteries are full off grid, your panels turn off. They've got nowhere to send the energy, so they actually turn off. Unless you're going to turn things on and use it, there's nowhere to do with the energy. So there's lots of really cool monitoring in here that you can see, alarm logs, reporting, all that sort of stuff. So you can share this with your friends and family so they can see what's going on with the off grid. But this comes standard with all our systems. With the Victron monitoring, we install this, which all comes standard. So that's the monitoring. Now with this circuit protection and wiring, we provide all the circuit protection, battery cables, fuse breakers. This here is a quick disconnect. You grab it, you pull it, and everything shuts down. If you've just got a small generator, we'd actually use this. And if for the larger generators, we'd supply one of these plugs depending on the size of your generator. So all the circuit protection and cables and stuff like that, that's what that kit stands for. Now with batteries, so let's get into batteries. There's a couple of different batteries they offer and choices. It all really comes down to budget. Really, if you're looking at a small system, you know, somewhere basically you just run some lights and fridges and stuff like that, we'd probably consider looking at offering some lead acid batteries. But really the price of lithium these days, and you get a lot better system with lithium. With a lead acid battery, the best warranty is about a 5-year warranty on the market with a Victron battery, where the lithium batteries you get a 10-year warranty. It's all really going to come down to budget. And what you can do with here, you can actually play around these quantities and go, okay, cool, well, I'd rather 4 these modules, so I can have 16 kilowatt hours in storage. And remember, with these batteries, you've only got 80% usable capacity. And what we do with these batteries when we set them up, we actually set them up that 100% on your battery monitor is 80%. So we do this from day one, so there's all protection, all your warranty stuff protected. So even if you go down to 0% on your battery, you're only using 80% because we've set it that way. If you really want to set it and manage it yourself from that one time to time and go down, because it's okay from time to time to go down below the 80%, but we really want to protect you on your warranties, and that's why we set it like that. But your system, completely up to you, the choice, if that's what you want to do. If you want to add or take batteries away, you can just change that quantity. Now, there is a minimum amount of batteries for systems, and the minimum amount of batteries is going to relate to this inverter size. So most of our systems we've sent out, we start with the minimum amount, or from the conversations that we've had on the phone, we will put the recommended amount of batteries in there for your budget, for your energy consumption, basically. So these are a rack mounted battery. With these rack mount batteries, they do require a cupboard. Now, there's 2 different cupboards that we sort of offer, or there's actually 3. There's this cupboard here. This one takes 4 batteries. So this is it's got a fan in it and vents and stuff like that. So literally, it will vent itself. It's IP rated, so no dust or anything like that can get in it. So that's basically an outdoor cupboard, can be stuck outdoors. We really want to keep these out of the sun, out of the weather as much as possible to really help the longevity of the systems. But these can go outside. They are an IP rated cupboard. And these ones here are an internal cupboard. So these ones work out cheaper. There's got a pretty little glass door on the front so you can see all their batteries and stuff like that, but they're not an IP rated cupboard for outdoors. So they do require to go inside. These are an internal side. They are cheaper, but basically allows you to put 8 batteries in there. With your batteries, what you want to do is put them somewhere where the kids pretty much can't get to them. They want to be somewhere lockable, is what you want. So they're the couple of different cupboard options that require for these rack mounted batteries. Now, we do a couple of rack mounted batteries. We do really, we work with Power Plus and Pylon Tech as the sort of 2 batteries we offer as a rack mounted battery. We really love the Power Plus, an Australian company that have been in the industry, in the commercial power supplies industry for about 30 years. So we really like the Power Plus product. There's some really innovative, cool stuff coming out. And these are what's called an unmanaged battery. So the really good thing about this is in the future, you can just add another one if you want to continue adding storage. And it's another big reason we're sort of moving more towards the lithium rack mounted type batteries, because with lead acid, you cannot add to it in the future. You can, but it's going to kill the batteries. It's not worth it. So that's the reason we moved to more these rack mounted batteries. And look, literally, if you buy a cupboard with 4 batteries in it and you fill it, in the future, just buy another one next to it and another one next to it, or you buy a bigger cupboard from day one that can handle all the batteries in it. So that's the rack mounted batteries. Now, the other battery option that we like, and this is an LTO, it's a lithium titanate oxide. The reason I suppose this is an Australian company that haven't been that popular is they're a big battery. If you compare this to the lithium, that's a 4 kilowatt hour battery. It's about the size of a suitcase, and this here is about 1.6 meters high. It's a 1600 mil and 15 centimeters round. So they take up a bit of space. They just be mounted on a wall. They can go outside. They're IP rated. They're great. They don't require a cupboard, and you continue buying them and just keep adding them to your system. So you can work your numbers out here. Go, right, I want the Zenergy battery and I want 6 of them, and you just 36. That'd be great. Be a big system. You might want some more solar panels. So yeah, you can select more batteries. They're a 20-year warranty. They're an Australian company. So LTOs is probably one of the safest lithium technologies on the marketplace. And yeah, basically it's a full 20-year warranty for 20 years, so which is quite cool. They've only got 2 kilowatt hours in per stick, so they are more expensive because you are getting double the warranty. And it's all really going to come down to what you're sort of looking at for your budget, space, and things like that. So they're the cupboards. Installation team. So yeah, so this price here, our price as a business, there's no like You know, I see a lot of quotes that say this is not the final price, your cabling, wiring and stuff like that could be extra. As a business, this is fully installed. You know, that's it. We're not going to come and say, hey, charge you this and that extra, because we forgot to quote you up on a battery cable price or something like that. It's a fully installed price unless you change something as the customer. Everything's quoted and designed in the system. It's a fully installed price, so that's it there. That's an example of a couple of little systems that we've installed. So a couple of Power Plus batteries in the cupboard there. That's one of the Power Plus supplied cupboards that only holds 3 batteries. And that's the newer type Victron AC coupled inverter, off-grid inverter, and that's the AC coupled ABB. So in farm sheds, we normally just put them on a blackboard, we just build all this for you. And this is a great example with this farm shed here. The customer has no power, nothing wired into the shed, so we just whack this up and we put some power points there so the customer can plug power in there to run extension cords out. They actually have a tiny house, so they can power their tiny house off a little cord out there until they get the house and shed rewired and they've got accessible power there. So that's that one there. And this is just a pretty picture of, you know, nice sunset and the job we did. So this is an example where we're lucky enough we could fit all those panels there on the roof, and there's no tilt frames required. Okay, cool. And generators. So basically with the generator, we offer some Honda Dunlights as the main company we work with. Anything we supply, we want to supply something with a Honda or Dunlight generator, purely because if something goes wrong, you can take it to your local generator shop, they can service it, fix it, and get it sorted out. If it's some weird no-name brand or whatever, it's very hard to make that happen. So we provide these. We're happy to work with you if you want to provide your own generator and you want to auto start. You just require to make sure you get yourself a 2-wire auto start. With these color controls with the Victrons, they have the ability to auto start a generator. So I'll just go back to the monitoring here. I can actually log in, I could actually start this customer's generator if I wanted to. Probably freak them out, they'd be calling me. I'm pretty sure my phone rang in about 3 seconds saying, Mike, the generator just started. But yeah, the ability is to auto start the generator. Get this to go around. Here we go. So from the screen of your phone, you can actually just log in here, press a button and actually start the generator. So it says generator not running right now and I'm not going to start it. With a 2-wire auto start, that's what gives you the ability to be able to do that. So something to consider and think about when you get in a generator, or if that's something that doesn't bother you, you can just walk out and pull it and start it. But yeah, these inverter chargers with the Victron, it's all programmed and set. We can use the inverter here to do it. Mostly we like to do it through the color control because remotely you as a customer, you can log in, you can check everything, you can turn your generator on and off from your phone if it's necessary or required. So yeah, so if you have a play around, edit things and you select things, so if you're looking at getting these batteries here, remember to select the battery cupboard, don't forget. All our terms and conditions of how our systems work, some referrals down here. If you want to ask a question, if you just type it on here and ask the question, it'll come up and you can type the question here so it's all recorded in the quote. So when we're doing it, if I'm not around or someone's in the office, we can all keep track of where the questions and stuff are. So yeah, that's really about it. So have a play around with it. I do really appreciate the opportunity to be of service and do a design for you. Any questions after you've got your quote, give us a call and we can go from there. And what I would really appreciate, that whether you decide to go ahead with us or you go with someone else, we'd really like to appreciate as a business. We want to lift our game as a business and be better and more professional. Whether you come with us or not, we'd really appreciate that feedback of the reason either you did go with us as a business or if you didn't come with us, we'd love to know that as well. So just a yes or a no, we won't be offended. We just really appreciate that feedback so we can continue to improve as a business and offer better service to our customers. So thanks guys, and I really appreciate your time.